Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Online Racing League ORL for round 3 of the season at the Chinese Grand Prix on the BenQ Twitch channel. Of course, hello everyone if you are just joining us just now. We've just gone live for round 3 of the Chinese Grand Prix. My name is Joshua Davis, on your lobby host once again, and alongside me is Joanna Brito. Joanna, how are we doing?
Good evening. Quite fun, quite looking forward for this track. It's one of the most, with all these new circuits joining in, it's one of the older ones that a lot of history of F1 has been made on this track, with some round numbers being achieved on this track. So although we haven't raced there really recently in real life, I'm looking forward for tonight's race.
Absolutely. It's been 3 years since we've raced at the Chinese Grand Prix in real life. 2019 Chinese Grand Prix was home of the 1000th Grand Prix in Formula 1 history, 70 years of history, and a lot has gone on since then. Back in 1950, Lewis Hamilton, of course, winning that one with a Mercedes 1-2, Valtteri Bottas second place. That incredible double pit stop they had all those years ago was absolutely down to a nail, and Sebastian Vettel bringing home P3 as well. In the normal championship in here for ORL, it is Danny Beresnay leading the way so far, 20-point gap to his rival of Ismail Fassi in P2. Danny not here tonight, so Ismail does have a chance to try and take his crown, if you like, going into the next round. And of course, Alfa Romeo as well in the constructors, they leading the way as well, 36 points to Red Bull's 32, or actually are tied with Mercedes, 32 plays 32, with Red Bull, of course, having a brilliant race last time out in Miami, second place and 5th place as well. Hopefully they can try and bring it back tonight as well, so hopefully can try and bring a charge to Alfa Romeo and to Mercedes as well. We are about to get ready to go for qualifying one. If you are unfamiliar with the qualifying format, it is 18 minutes for qualifying one. We have 18 drivers on the grid, so it will be 16th down to 18th who will be eliminated from this round. Into Q2 then, which will be 11th to 15th out, which will be 15 minutes, I believe. And then we have the top 10 who go through to the shootout, which is 12 minutes. And whoever qualifies where is where you qualify on pole, well, where you qualify in the race. If you get first for the fastest lap, you're on pole for the race. I think we've just seen someone go out. It might be one of the Ferraris. Yes, it is. Stefano Ramazio even, as he makes his way out of the hairpin. Has had a pretty up and down season so far, has the man from Italy. A little bit cloudy as well out there at the Chinese Grand Prix circuit. Iters are set on a dry track, but we've all been there before, just making sure everything is right on the setup and nothing is clicking or twitching at all on their rigs at home, so everything should be looking good on Ramazio's side as well. Domenico Lovecce comes back to the league as well, ex-F1 esports driver for the Ferrari FDA team, of course. A brilliant driver is Domenico, and if we can see a little bit more from him, he can definitely bring the challenge to our top guys. Definitely one to look out for tonight. Nardi Perez is on the set of the medium, so he's decided to go on the dries. Jenny Dovson and Bastian Brunner as well on the intermediates, alongside Lethal Sniper, who comes in just out of the pits as well, and Dimitri Pandaleev on the softs as well. But Stefano, the first one out on on a lap at least on the intermediate compound tyres, keeping it nice and steady as he makes his way down the back straight. Do love a bit of a China myself. It is a very, very nice circuit. A lot of drivers don't seem to tend to like it too much, but it is a very, very nice flowing circuit. A lot of overtaking opportunities as well, but it's not a bad track at all. And Joanna, why don't we take a lap with Ramazio around the Chinese Grand Prix?
Yeah, with the Ferrari driver just joining up onto one of the most familiar sections between turns 1, 2, and 3 around the Chinese Grand Prix here in Shanghai. Really tricky to go around this, and very crucial to have a very good exit so you can finish the first sector in a high. This last corner before the end of the first sector really flat out, and then braking, keeping it together to the inside curve and trying to maximize the speed out of it. Then one of my favorite sections of this track, if not the favorite section, you have to be really careful if you can go on full throttle or not. Obviously on intermediates you will not be going full throttle, then a slight break, and then to finish the second sector around this track, just full power into turn number, I missed the number, sorry, number 11, and then again very tricky on the power, very essential that you put it correctly, so you can get the best possible exit, and then one of the longest straights we have around an F1 track, and you have to go full power. Obviously DRS here doing the race will be a major factor to around the 100-meter mark, getting the best exit as you can get, and then getting to the right side so you have the better angle for this last chicane. Obviously, in this case, Stefano Ramazio deciding to go for the pit entrance, and what a pit entrance. We've seen accidents happening here, cars just going straight. We've seen Sebastian Vettel overtaking before the pit lane using the best of the safety car rules, where you can actually overtake inside when you're in the pit lane. Well, or in the pit entrance, not the pit lane, obviously. And getting some free positions in this in a few years ago. Do you remember which year was it?
What, Sebastian Vettel's overtake, was it? I think 2015. It was in the Ferrari, I believe. 2015, 16, sometime around that era. But yeah, that was definitely making agreements with the rules there. So he did that all fairly, and definitely put him a few positions in the box. Yeah, definitely an interesting layout there in the championship, and lost it by 1 point to Kimi Räikkönen in the season finale. Got it back a year later. Speaking of which, Robbie Vaughn sets the top time so far in the Haas, 33.348, beats Dimitri Pantelev's time of a 34.122, so about 8 tenths quicker than the Aston Martin man so far. Nardi Perez is sat in P3, 136.439 on the mediums as well, but a few mistakes as well. It is still early doors, so there's still a few more drivers just yet to set their lap. Speaking of which, Milan Mayer's just crossed the line as well to start his first flying lap, and so does Tim Palm. Challenger's driver, of course, in 2020 on the PlayStation platform, made his way to the Pro Draft, and definitely did very, very well for himself that season. Also, Ismail Fassi, currently P2 in the championship so far, trying to dethrone Danny Berezne's absence so far, and looking to try and get on the top spot. If he does win today, he will be gaining that advantage by about 5 points, 6 points if he gets a faster lap as well. So he makes his way through the fast-flowing Sector 2, left, right, very, very tricky. Of course, a beautiful part of the track if you get it absolutely to the nail. 52.388 in Sector 2 for Mr. Fassi, the Spaniard, getting it very, very well done out of Sector 2, now into Sector 3, very, very hard on the long right-hander, and then onto the second longest back straight in F1. Obviously the first one belonging to BenQ, that long back straight which seems to go on forever and ever and ever. Big braking zone then into the penultimate corner, big braking into the 100-meter border, flick to the right, nicely taken by Mr. Fassi as he goes towards the final couple of corners now, keeping wide to the left-hand side and clipping it on the left as well, riding the curves on the right, across the line. Sector 3 has a yellow flag, but it's Ismail Fassi who takes the crown so far by about 8 tenths of a second. 32.576 is your P1 time. Milan Mayer only a couple of tenths off that in a P2 of 32.834, sorry, and Robbie Vaughn coming into pit lane on a 33.348. We've just seen Roy Arnoux also one to just start his lap time. We just saw him behind Ismail Fassi, and he's the first one of the Red Bulls to start their first flying lap. Well, the second Red Bull actually, as Tim Palm has gone P4, as we've just seen. Ben Sabokonyi had a little bit of a rough time at Miami last time around, trying to bring his woes back together and trying to get a little bit of luck at China. 51.972 Sector 2 time, which is not bad at all, to say the least. Wounding towards the right-hander, so easy to lose the car off camber, of course, and just that little bit too much of acceleration will send you in a spin. And also taking too much curb, end up like Mark Webber Airlines all those years ago, 2010, 2011 I think it was. He had that massive moment on the curb. Obviously redesigned to make it a little bit safer in the years gone by, but definitely something that can happen if you abuse it too much. A little bit of a wobble out of the exit of the final couple of corners, flat out onto the left, a little bit of a dab of a curb and across the line, and it is pole position so far for Ben Sabakoni. Much better than last time out. 32.111 is the time to beat, 4/10 quicker than Ismail Fassi. Well, Neil, I believe, has just come towards the final couple of corners. His teammate of Tim Palm lets him go. Rounds the final couple of corners into the final corner, trying to keep up Red Bull's good terms from Miami as he comes towards the final corner. Big commitment to the final couple of corners. A little bit of slide, but seems to be pretty decent, not too bad at all. And that lap time puts him into the P4s, 32.880, and only a couple of hundred slower than Milan Meyer, and beats his teammate of Tim Palm to P6. Jacobo Grillo as well. Just starting his lap time. Christoph Seller, Istvan Pukki was so unlucky last time out, losing the podium and potentially the win in the last couple of laps. Just got in a spin, and that was a done deal for the Aston Martin machine. Trying to get back this time at China, and his pace was just so lightning at Miami. We just felt so sorry for him, but hopefully can come back with a bang. 52.122 in Sector 2. That will definitely get you into the top 3 right about now. Comes towards a fast flowing right-hander onto the back straight under the Aramco barrier. DRS will hit you in the face right about now, and hits the DRS. Of course comes the Aston Martin driver, Istvan Pukki. And a big braking zone into the penultimate corner. DRS slams shut at the back. Fly to the right, keeping it tight to the left-hand side. And into the final couple of corners there. Istvan Pukki flying towards the final corner. Flick it in on the left. Nicely taken. Beautifully on the curve. DRS wide open across the line. And it is going to be about P3, 32.215. And the top 3 are quite closely congested. As Chanakinchi goes P2 as well with a 32.166.
Quite interesting to see both Alpine drivers up there with P2 and P3, so looking sharp for this race. Istvan Pukki managing to put a time early on. Sometimes it has been a bit his undoing, so nice to see him in P4 for now. And then of course still 2 drivers with no time on the score. Stefano Ramadio and Jan Halades, one of the Ferraris and one of the McLarens. Both had less than ideal races last time around. Jan was having a good race, but then the last couple of laps an incident keeps sending him to outside the point scoring positions. So let's see if he can come back to tonight.
Absolutely. So riding on board with Domenico Lavecce as he comes towards the final couple of corners. Currently dead last on a 37.79 and shoots up to the 31s. We're into the 31s now, right about now, with 31.935 with Domenico Lavecce. I told him to look out for you. He's just gone pole position by 0.2 of a second to Ben Sabakoni, the ex-F1 Esports driver, of course, for the Ferrari FDA team. And definitely stamping his authority in this qualifying session so far. Nadi Perez, Dimitri Pantaleev and Bastian Brunner so far. The drivers at risk. And probably looking about now, you're probably going to see, I'm going to assume the mid-32s will probably see you safe. So I probably wouldn't see any more times from the top 5. I think they're pretty much all safe. Maybe Jacobo as well might be okay with that 32.479, but the bottom 7... probably going to have another go at doings, but we'll see how it plays out anyway. As Nadi Perez, the other Mercedes driver to Ismail Fassi, currently dead last as well on a 35.1. He was on the intermediates as well as he flies towards the final couple of corners. Across the line he goes now, and he's was actually on an outlap as well. No, he wasn't. That was on a time, but goes not a lot quicker with a 35.144. So a few mishaps on that lap. Tim Palm as well making his way through Sector 2. 2/10 up in Sector 1. The Red Bull currently flying so far, looking on a 33.5 if he can keep things going. A little bit of a wobble on the exit. Yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3. So I'm going a little bit slowly. And a little bit more of an improvement there as Christoph Zeller retires from the session. That might be in the pit lane. If not so, I'll be devastating if it is. And there we go, the Red Bulls using their advantages with the slip. And there goes Roy Arnoux getting out of the way of his teammate there. Oh, it's a little bit late with the slip, but the teammates seem to have got it down to a nail and giving it that a little bit extra of a boost as the two Alpines also retire from the session. I think they definitely know now that they are pretty much through. Shanakinchi in P3 as well, retiring as we've just seen. A little bit of a moment. Was that a little bit too wide for Tim Palm? No, it wasn't. He goes up into P14, improves by just under 0.5 of a second, half a second there on Tim Palm. The Red Bulls are in a little spot of trouble at the moment. Roy Arnoux only 13th and Tim Palm only 14th at the moment. We see Nardi Perez on his improvement, a 1.5 seconds up, which is much, much better than he was a few laps ago as he rounds the final couple of corners for the Mercedes team. Across the line he comes now, DRS in the face and into P7, beats his teammate by 1/1000th of a second. How about that? And if that's what you call closeness to Mr. Wolf, then I don't know what is. That is extremely close. Mercedes will definitely be happy about that one. Only about a tenth, almost dead 10th slower than Mr. Grillo in the AlphaTauri. As Milan Mayer also just shoots to the timing screens and he goes P3 on a 32.129. It's so tight between that top four. You can see a 31.9 for Leveche, a 32.1 for Sabo Konyi, a 32.129 for Milan Mayer, and a 32.166 for Mr. Akinci, and a 32.213 for Chris Osella. And only 2,000s behind him is Isfan Pookie in P6. So it's so tight between that top six. We could be in for a thriller here.
I was kind of hoping to see if Tim was going to get back the favor to Roy, but seems like he was a bit far from his teammates. So it's well, he actually gives up on the lap and goes back to the people. A bit risky, if I may say so. Being in P15 and just joining the boxes right now, it will be a bit tight, especially with both Red Bulls entering the pits at the same time.
Absolutely so. It's going to be extremely tight. Bastian Brunner having a few problems as well as he makes his way through the final corner, just starting his what is probably going to be the final lap in his session. 2 minutes left to go. Currently riding P17 at the moment. And is currently about 8 or 9 tenths home from safety. Jacobo Grillo retires from the session. He thinks he's safe, and looking at it right now, he probably is going to be. Robbie Vant on an outlap at the moment. He's at risk as well on a 33.3. Bastian Brunner, as we've just said as well. Dmitry Pantalev also at risk, but only a 1/10 up on his current time in Sector 1. And really, he's going to have to get a move on in this Aston Martin if he wants to try and see himself into Q2, right in the curbs on the right hand side and into a big braking zone. That's much better. 0.5 up now, just under 0.5 up on his current best on a 34.122. Tim Palm retires from the session. Very risky indeed. Probably didn't have enough time to go out again. Roy Arnoux retires as well. Definitely those Red Bulls did not have enough time to go again, and Roy Arnoux will he be slapping himself in the face from abandoning that lap time? Might not have been up, but definitely probably worth a go for another one if he could. A little bit wide though for Pantalev. That might give him a little bit of a breathing space towards the Red Bulls. For their sake, of course. Into the final corner comes Pantalev. Is he anywhere? And invalidates at the final corner. 0.8 up, a 33.311, which would have been enough for P15, I think, there. So that would have been good enough. But invalidation at the end leaves him dead last. Bastian Brunner retires from the session. He comes into the pit lane. He doesn't think it's good enough. He is out of qualifying. Robbie Van going extremely wide, and he backs out of it. He is out of qualifying as well. So Robbie Van, Bastian Brunner, and Dmitry Pantalev are all out of qualifying and finishes 16th, 17th and 18th with a 33.348 for Robbie Van, a 34.029 for Bastian Brunner, and Dmitry Pantalev on a 34.122. Johnny Dobson also out on track for another lap alongside Stefano Ramazio, into Sector 1 as well. He got enough time for one more. And those are the only two drivers left to go in the session. Here comes Johnny Dobson coming towards the final couple of corners, currently riding P11 for the McLaren team. Did pretty decently at Miami last time around. Did a bit of the business there, so got the job done for the McLaren team. Jan Haladej in P13 did enough. A little bit lower than what he probably would have expected, but he's done enough to get through into Q2. And Yuri Dawson does more than enough and puts himself into P7. We're going to ride on board with Stefano Ramazio. He makes his way towards Sector 3, then 2 tenths up in Sector 2, which is looking much better than it was a couple of laps ago. Currently going to put him in about P8, just in front of Jacobo Grillo as he makes his way down the back straight. DRS wide open, under the Aramco barrier, under the Rolex signs, and a big braking zone coming up on the 100-meter board. Big slap in the face goes the DRS into the right-hander, riding on towards the curb on the left-hand side and into the final corner. It sweeps at you right in the face, flick on the left-hand side on the steering wheel, hop onto towards the line. That's a little bit too wide. That might be an invalidation. And I think it was, and puts him in P11, but still, no, it actually was valid there and got up into P4, so dodged the bullet there, Stefano Ramazio, and into P4 he goes with a beautiful lap time, and it is looking very good for the Ferrari boys, as you can see, top 4 there, and so as you can see there, Domenico Lavecce on pole so far in Q1, to Ben Saboconi in P2, Milan Mea in P3, Stefano Ramazio in P4, Chanak Hinchi is P5 with Christoph Zeller in P6, as Van Pookie is 7th, for Yoni Dovson 8th, Jacobo Grillo in 9th, and Nardi Perez in the top 10. Ismail Fassi is 11th, Felito Sliper is P12 for Williams, with Jan Haladej 13th, Roy Anu 14th, Tim Palm 15th, and lucky for the Red Bulls, just got through in time, and we were left with Robbie Van, Bastian Brunner, and Dimitri Pantaleev on the sidelines in Q2 and Q3. It definitely was an interesting qualifying session from all the top 6, top 7 there.
Indeed, very interesting to see what we will see from the top guys in qualifying 3, but we will still have another session, and this time it's not 3 drivers dropping by, it will be 5, so the competition starts to tighten a bit for those outside the top 10 or even near the bottom part of the top 10. Some surprises can happen. We have Ismail Fassi, who was 3rd on both races so far, just finishing this qualifying session in P11, so he would be one of those out of qualifying if this was qualifying too. So let's see what both Mercedes can do during this session, and of course all the other drivers.
They're really going to have to put their pedal to the metal if they want to try and get out of qualifying here. The Mercedes looking okay. They got through into Q2, which is the main thing that matters, but definitely for Ismail Fassi's case, he's looking for a championship. Probably not doing so well. And with only 6 races left to go, he's going to have to really put his foot down in this qualifying session and make every single lap he does count to the maximum. Tim Palm and Jan Haladej are the mans out on lap so far. And Jan Haladej having a little bit of a drift out of the left-hander. We're not in Tokyo, we're in Japan. We're in Shanghai at the moment, Mr. Haladej. So let's try and keep the tyres on a respectable level. At least, and having a little bit more on the back straight. So giving a little bit to the camera, Jan Haladej. But one way to warm up your tyres, Joanna.
Good old Pezzo putting on the show for us. How nice of him. But yeah, I don't think you really need to put that much temperature into the tires around this circuit. It will do it by itself, in my opinion. But then again, probably just testing the limits where it doesn't count, so when on it really goes as smooth as possible. Not both, only Nardi already on his outlap as well, the Red Bull. I think of Tim as well. So quite a few drivers deciding to go already into the pits. And if you notice, there's already a second Red Bull getting out of the pit lane. So maybe they'll do teamwork again.
Yeah, they seem to do some decent teamwork here, the Red Bull boys. So probably know each other very, very well. Can definitely rely on one another as we ride on board for a lap of the Shanghai International Circuit with Jan Haladej going through turn 1 and turn 2. We'll have a little bit of the T-cam for you to see where he goes and wrestling with the car all the way through. Jan Haladej looking pretty feisty with that McLaren at 24.629. is his sector 1 time, carrying the speed through on the right-hander, staying really tight to left-hand side and into the flowing left, then riding the curves on the right just to make sure you get that exit speed into the left, in towards the right, staying tight towards that curve on the right, missing it a little bit on the left. Hop onto the second left now, riding the curves all the way through, missing the right-hand side, clipping the left one, riding it all the way through like a skateboard on the exit into sector 2 section zone, 52.553, losing a little bit of time, probably from that slide in sector 1, and having to reconnect the steering wheel once again in that right-hander. It's been a little bit of a scruffy lap there from Jan Halliday, riding that curve again and into the back straight then. 44% ERS left on that McLaren car. The ERS slaps him in the face right about now under the Rolex boards. Where's he going to brake? Just after the 150, bang on the 100, in towards the right-hander, big lock-up on the right, a little bit late braking, gets on towards the curves, and again, just a little bit of a scruffy lap there from Jan Halliday, flying towards the left-hander, and does decide to back out of that one, probably knowing it wasn't good enough. And Jan Halliday will definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board with that one. Tim Palm crosses the line. He's the first one to set a lap time with a 33.051 on that Red Bull car with some medium, with the soft compound tyres on. Diesel Sniper making his way into sector 2 in a 52.606. Well, also just starting his lap time as well as Jan Halliday, Nani Perez. Sorry, who's that? Ben Sabaconyi goes through and crosses the line. 32.529 for him. He's gone pole position quicker than 5/10 to Tim Palm there in P2. As we can see there, a few more times starting to go around. Yoni Dobson, Jan Halliday's teammate, starting his lap as well. And into sector 2 he goes there. I think that was I couldn't quite see what that was in sector 1. We'll have to see what in sector 2 is like, carrying the speed all the way through on the left-hander. He's got the Red Bull just in front of him. Hopefully won't cause him too much havoc as he makes his way towards the left-hand side using that lovely orange, black and red helmet on the McLaren. Suits it very, very well on that livery. Very, very beautiful indeed. 52.423 in sector 2. Which is much, much better than his teammate could do. About a 10th quicker so far as he makes his way towards the long right-hander and onto the back straight then. The Red Bulls using their slipstream tactic once again and into good effect. We'll see what Roy O'Neill has to offer in a couple of moments' time. We'll stay aboard with Yanni Dobson as he tries to warm up the tyres on the back straight. Maybe not thinking this is his lap anyway. The number 70 car riding the right-hand side into the back straight then, into the final couple of corners. Does he decide to keep the slap or not? He's going to keep it, holding towards the left-hander and across the line. He's going to come. Roy O'Neill goes P2, and Yoni Dobson slots in between the two Red Bulls in P3, the 32.939.
Quite interesting to see these guys working so well together. As you mentioned, they probably know each other. Well, we have quite a few drivers on their attempts. Islam Tuki is one of them. The only Aston Martin on track tonight, going into the S section and until the final corners of the second sector. Let's see what time he will be doing and if he can dethrone BenQ in P1.
We'll have to wait and see. Benz has been pretty decent so far in Q1. Set the base time in Q2 as well. That 32.5. As Yoni Dobson having a little bit of a moment on the left-hand side, which puts, I think that's Christoph Zeller. No, that was that was Janik Inchi having a little bit of a moment out of the exit. We'll stay on board with Christoph Zeller though as he makes his way towards the final couple of corners. First Alpine will cross first, which is Christoph Zeller, as Ismail Fassi puts 5/10 past Pren Sabaconyi in P2 there. 5/10, 32.098. And Christoph Zeller joins him on the front row with a 32.136. These guys are going to be absolutely inseparable for the whole time. Miss Van Pookie goes P3 with 32.2 dead. We stay on board then with Shanna Kinchi just behind us. Had a little bit of a mishap in Sector 2 there. 51.9, kept it going. The DRS hits him in the face. Can he try and dethrone? Yes, he can. Ismail Fassi is dethroned at 31.918. The second driver we've had so far in the 31s. The only other driver, Domenico Levecce in Q1 with that 31.9 as well. Hythe with 31.1. This is the quickest time we've had all qualifying session into the low 31.9s, as we've just seen. Milan Mayer also won just to start his lap time there. He's in Sector 1 right now at the moment. Yellow flags once again. Just the car to the left-hand side.
I'm quite curious to see how this lap for Domenico Lovecchio will go. It's the first attempt he does on this second qualifying session, but he will have so many unsynced with him. Let's see. Let's hope that none of them will get him into trouble. Putting on a decent lap.
Absolutely.
So far, it says purple.
Yep, purple so far in Sector 1. This means he's got on quickest as the AlphaTauri has a little bit of a moment. That's Jacobo Grillo in P11 so far, yet to set a time. And that is not the way how you do it so far, but he's going to have to try again another lap. The number 29 of Domenico Novecce will stay on board with him. What's his Sector 2 time going to be like? Across the line he goes, 51.8, so about a tenth quicker than Chanakinci at the moment. And Mr. Lovecce is on a flyer so far. The Italian driving for the Italian Ferrari. Makes a lot of sense. The Williams just gets out of the way just in time. A little bit of a nervy moment there for Lovecce, but gets the job done. DRS wide open. Nardi Perez slots into P2 on a 32.037. Only a few hundredths quicker than his teammate of Ismail Fassi there. Braking very, very hard there is Domenico Lovecce into the penultimate corner and into the fast left-hander, which is coming up right about now. Where's he going to break? A little bit of a kiss on the 50-meter board, flying towards the left, hopping on that curb. A little bit of a correction, gets the job done though, across the line, and it's a 31.901. Only about 100th of a second quicker than Chanakinci. We haven't seen the 31.8s yet, but Lovecce was so close, 2,000ths off the 31.8. But this is going to get very, very tasty indeed between Akinci, Lovecce, Perez and Fassi, with also Sella, Meyer and Pookie probably going to definitely get into the mix soon enough.
It's interesting. Lap, thankfully no issues from the Ferrari driver on his hot lap, and now I think Nardi Perez is not on a hot lap, so don't know. With all these yellow flags, you cannot really see how. So 5 minutes till the end. Most of our drivers will still have another attempt to try to improve. It's interesting to see from, I'd say, all the way down to P9. It's not really off a gap, really. And then a bigger gap between Jan and Bence, but I'm sure that Bence will try to correct it. He's actually on a hot lap, I believe, so maybe right now. Let's see. He's getting into the last corner, trying to keep it in the track. He manages to do it, and let's see how much of an improvement he brings. Oh, it's P1, so if I was talking that he was a bit lower in P10, he now goes P1. Fastest lap so far, 1:31.877 for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yep, he is a man on a mission so far. Ben Sabaconi been so impressive in qualifying so far. We've seen our first 31.8s. We're just riding on board with him through Sector 2 and Sector 3. And his times were absolutely lit to the maximum. 31.877 is your new time to beat. That will definitely see you through. Currently, the cutoff time is Jan Haladej's 32.362. So you're probably going to look at a very low 32.0 to get you through into qualifying. That is how tight it is. 33, 32.3, 32.2, 32.2, 32.1, 32.1 is the gap between 6th and 10th. So about 2/10 of a second separate you from life and death, if you will. As Lethal Sniper as well in P11, currently 1/10 down in Sector 1 there. We'll see what his Sector 2 time is as well. We ride on board with Yoni Dobson, who's actually about to cross the line as we speak there, coming towards the final couple of corners, unless he is on a lap. No, he is on a lap at the moment. Across the line, he will go in the McLaren car and shoots into the 32.939. So he'll go one more. I think that was an outlap, actually, from the McLaren. So he will have one more go. Yeah, it was an outlap indeed. Tim Palm also looking to try and improve on a 52.650 so far. Currently stuck in the 33.0. Sector 1 and Sector 2 have yellow flags as well. Someone just slowing down again as Roy Arnoux just in front of him. His teammate working with the slip very well indeed. Down the back straight, DRS wide open. Roy Arnoux is going to go to the right-hand side just about now and brakes very well indeed. So that works to the nail for Red Bull. And probably going to see a gain of about a 10th. Alone down Tim Palm's time. Yellow flags in Sector 2 again. We'll see him on the left-hand side. A little bit of a wobble. Is that a little bit too wide? We'll have to wait and see. He's lost a lot of time there, and I think he knows it was invalid. Let off the throttle, and that was a good lap. Probably gone to waste and stays P14. We'll have to see how long is left if he has one more chance out of the bag. Leveche is out there again, which is interesting, 225. And I think that might see Tim Palm out of qualifying for this session. His teammate Roy Arnaud is going to try again. He's going to slow down just to try and get the step once again. We'll see what his time is like in Sector 1. He's about a tenth and a half up. Right now, that's not going to let him. That's not going to see him through into Q3 though. Yanni Dovson is rounding the final corner now, 3 tenths up so far. What can he do? He can go into P9 on a 32.200. That 223, sorry, there for the McLaren. That is running the risk massively. Jan Haladej's teammate just crossing the line now on his final attempts as well. 1 minute 43 left in the session. Jacobo Grillo is about to cross the line right now. He starts his final lap as well. We'll stay on board then with Roy Arnaud, just under a tenth and a half up in Sector 2 now for the Red Bull. He's going to need something very, very big in Sector 3 if he wants to see himself in that top 10 shootout. His teammate of Tim Palm lets him go to the right-hand side. He's probably going to be seeing himself out of qualifying, but what about his teammate, Roy Arnaud, rounding the final couple of corners. Into the final one he comes, the Red Bull driver. What's it going to be like? Across the left-hander, swooping on the right-hand side, across the line, comes the Red Bull man, across the line. He stays 13th, and he is out of qualifying. Tim Palm, I think, is going to go for one more run here, as you can see there. Jan Haladej is about to cross the line. He's currently in Sector 2, 2 tenths up at the moment. So is Jacobo Grillo, who's coming towards Sector 2 right about now. 51.9, 11 seconds than his personal best. He's had the rough of the smooth so far, as Jacobo Grillo just not had a good time up to date. He's currently about a tenth back, is Jan Haladej on Ramazio's time with a 32.226. What's it going to be like in Sector 3 then? This is going to be oh so tight to see if the McLarens make it through into Q3. Here we go then, round in the final corner. Kinchi and Dovson are in the pit lane. They can't do any better. 20 seconds left to go in the session. Jan Haladej crosses the line and shoots into the top 3. A magical lap there from Jan Haladej and puts him into P3. Ramazio, who I think is still out there, is out of qualifying. I think someone else has just gone quicker. That's Jacobo Grillo. Puts it into P6. Dovson is out of qualifying. Checker flag is out right now. Ramazio is still out there. 96 thousandths down in Sector 1 though. What about Lethal Sniper? He's still out there. 7 tenths up. 41 thousandths down actually in Sector 1. We'll see what Tim Palm is like. He's backed out. So the two Red Bulls, 14th and 15th, are out of qualifying. It's down then to Stefano Ramazio, who's currently in Sector 2 right now. He needs something big. He's about just under 2 tenths down, 2 tenths up, sorry, which is probably going to be enough right now if he wants to knock out Istvan Pukki, who's currently riding about now. Leveche, it's into the 131.5s. He's gone 4 tenths quicker, 3 tenths quicker than Ben Sabakoni there. Beautiful lap time. Ismail Fassi joins him on the front row into P2, a 31.872 for the Spaniard there. Milan Meyer also about to cross the line. He's backed out of his lap. We see Istvan Pukki right now will quick on over to Ramazio as well. Istvan Pukki is just behind there. Across the line he goes. Currently P10 into P7. Has Ramazio backed out? No, he hasn't. Across the line he goes and into P10. He is through into qualifying as we speak. Yanni Dovson is out. We'll see what about Milan Meyer. He is out as well. He's backed off. Lethal Sniper is about to cross the line. Is he out of qualifying? Does he make it through? No, he doesn't. Into P12. And Milan Meyer, Lethal Sniper, Yanni Dovson, Roy Arnaud, and Tim Palm are your bottom 11 who are out of Q2. And Ramazio, Grillo, Perez, Pukki, Sella, Akinci, Haladej, Ben Sabokonyi, Fassi, and Leveche are through into Q3 and into the knockouts. And Domenico Leveche getting 3 tenths on Ismail Fassi.
Interesting, but you have to consider that there was some track evolution going on there between the 2 laps. So let's see at that final moment of qualifying 3 who will get the best if one of those 2 was somebody else. Ashamed to see one of the McLarens staying out of Q3, but let's see. Jan has been showing a bit of difficulty around the Chinese track tonight, so very good to see him in P4 at the end of this session. Let's see if he is able to get the same kind of result for qualifying number 3.
Absolutely. Jan Halliday, another one who's been definitely lighting the times alive so far. So is Leveche, top both timing sheets in Q1 and Q2 by quite a margin, a little bit bigger than this time around. Just under 0.3 of a second. He gets P1 by Isma Fassi in P2. Ben Samakonyi is third with Jan Halliday in P4. Chanakinchi is P5 with Christoph Steller in P6. Isfan Fuki is 7th with Nani Perez in P8. Jacobo Grillo is 9th and Stefan Ramazio is P10. Milan Meyer is out of qualifying in 11th with Lethal Sniper in P12. Yone Dovson is 13th. Royal New is 14th and Tim Palm is 15th. And the last man out of qualifying, Domenico Leveche, is on a little bit of a roll so far in Q1 and Q2. The question is, can he get pole position in Q3? We'll see how it goes out. We're just about to get ready into Q3 right about now. And this will be the decider who will be on pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix, round number 3 of the ORL season. If you have just joined us, thank you for tuning in and welcome along to the stream. Danny Beresne has been lighting the times so far in the races, not here tonight. So we could see a new winner. Well, we will see a new winner in someone else tonight. But who will it be is the question. Leveche seems to be on the top step in qualifying so far. Fassi has come a close second, but it is up in the air in Q3. The best of the best will be shown tonight in League Racing, and we will see who will get pole position for ORL round 3 of the Chinese Grand Prix, and who will bite the bullet first is the question.
First of box at this moment. They will have time for 2 attempts. So let's see, but it seems that it's Jacopo Grillo, the AlphaTauri driver, already getting out of the pit lane. So let's see what kind of time we'll be able to put. He will be the first one to give us a reference for this qualifying session.
Absolutely. He is the first one out in qualifying. The Italian driver in the AlphaTauri. Let's see what he can do. The number 2 man in that AlphaTauri, as we just said. What can he do on his first attempt? He's decided to go out a little bit early than usual. Everyone's still in the pit lanes so far. But let's see what he can do as he rounds the right-hander on his outlap so far. Everyone on the set of the soft compound tyres, and as we said, probably going to get 2 runs out of this one, unless you have suited for 2 laps on the same set, which is probably not the wisest thing to do. There's only a few tracks you can probably get away with that. Brazil is being one of them, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But usually you go for 1 lap and then come back in and then go for another one later on. We'll see about how that works out in a couple of moments' time, though. Jacobo Grillo making his way through Sector 3, and still the only man left to go, who is, still the only man out on track so far. He'll be the first one to set the timing screens, though, and we'll see how he turns out. DRS is going to be available to him in a couple of moments' time. There it is. Decides not to use it, obviously, on his outlap. And we'll see how his lap time is going to pan out. We will take the lap of the Shanghai circuit in one of the quickest scenarios. We will see it all race long. As we can see there, comes towards the final corner, comes Jacobo Grillo, and the first lap of Q3 is about to commence right about now. Into turn 1 then, under the lights there, and into turn 1 then, braking just about under the 50, keeping it very, very tight, and the speed is very, very crucial. Probably going to be coasting around here into turn 1, tightly around turn 2, and a tight left into turn 3, hopping onto the curves into turn 4, riding onto them right on the outside into turn 5. Turn 6 is fully flat out, and into turn 7 and the 24.209. Remember 2018, Daniel Ricciardo going for the smallest gap possible on Valtteri Bottas. Lick the stamp and send it, he said, was the Aussie. Let's see if we see any of those moves today as Jacobo Grillo executing Sector 2 then. A fast left into a fast right and into a little bit of a braking zone into the left once again. Riding onto the curbs on the right-hand side, on the left, hitting them hard on the exit in towards the left-hand side and into the Sector 2 section zone. 51.8. Pretty decent Sector 2 there, and has kept it nice and tidy onto the curves on the right hand side. A little bit of a reconnection of the wheel on the left hand side, keeps it nice and tidy onto the curves on the left hand side, staying tight towards the grass as best as you can to set up for the final corner. DRS slaps you in the face as you make your way under the Rolex banner. The 100-meter board is coming about now. Boot it hard on the brakes into the right-hander. A little bit of a lock-up on the left-hand side. Keeps it nice and tidy on towards the curves. Into the final corner, then under the Rolex banner. Braking just on the 50 meters. A little bit of a kiss on the left. Hiding onto towards the curves on the right-hand side. Staying tight towards the right-hander. And a 31.8 will start the lap. That was magical by Jacopo Grillo. And that is a pretty decent time from the Italian man. And he is the first one to bite.
Interesting time from the Italian driver, as you mentioned. So when you consider that 1:31.5 was the best time on the second qualifying session, I'd say that Jacopo will still have to improve this time if he wants to get a very good place to start his race. Although of course he's already starting on the top 10, so that's not as bad as it could have been. But yeah, I think that he will be able to improve. The track is still fresh in this third qualifying session. Of course, it is improving since the beginning of the first session, but it will still improve significantly during this session. And if he manages to get it the right timing, I'm pretty sure that he will be able to improve this time.
Absolutely. So we're currently riding board with Jan Halliday, who I think has just done a 51.4. Couldn't quite see if my eyes were somewhere else. You can see what he's like in sector 3. Really sights on the curves there, riding it like a skateboard. Thankfully did not get beached. DRS wide open for the Czech driver. Coming into the penultimate corner, you can see the reflection in his mirrors there. Braking hard onto the right hand side. Going a little bit wide and off the track there goes Jan Halliday. Has he kept that lap together? Probably has done, but that's definitely slowed him down massively, and it's all going to come down on his last lap. DRS wide open, and you can see there a big mistake, and that is invalid actually, into a 33.0. Ben goes into a 32.1, cannot match Jacopo Grillo, neither can Christoph Seller by only a couple of thousandths of a second. A 31.822 for Christoph Seller then, not good enough to get into pole position, but Yannick Hinchey can, and into the 31.6s, 2/10 on Grillo there, and Domenico Lovecchie cannot respond to Akinci. Akinci has one up on the first set of lap times by only about 15 thousandths of a second. There's still times coming in. Ismail Fassi has just gone 5th fastest with a 31.875. We run aboard then with Istvan Pukki. Jan Halliday also coming towards the line as well. We'll see Istvan Pukki first at 51.9 in sector 2. What can he find in sector 3? The first couple of laps are coming to a close. Istvan Pukki will be the penultimate one to do so. Across he comes now. And into P5, 31.866 does dethrone Ismail Fassi by about 1/100th of a second exactly. So close in that top 6 there, all so tight. And we'll see what Jan Halliday has to offer on his second attempt, I believe, 52.4 in sector 2. He might be coming to it. And yeah, out of the battery, you can see they're going out wide. An invalidation on his first run. And that is all to do so for Jan Halliday, and he's got everything to do in his final run. That's the first couple of laps done. Let's see, is Yannick Hinchey on top there by about 17 thousandths on Domenico Lovecchie, who's just behind him in P2. That is so tight.
Interesting to see that nobody was able to match Domenico's time in the second qualifying session. He had 1:31.584, so him and Cemakinci quite close, but still a bit slower. So hopefully they'll be able to still take a bit of time. Maybe they went for this qualifying run with older tires that have run in previous qualifying sessions, and they left the new sets for this last attempt. Every driver received a brand new set of tires, soft tires, for this third qualifying session. So hopefully they left it for this last attempt, and they will be using it for this final Euro for pole position.
Absolutely. So as we can see that just on the leaderboard how close it is, 16 thousandths between Akinci and Lovecchie, and then it's a 2/10 gap with Jacopo Grillo really putting it out the bag there in P3. And only a couple of thousandths down there is Christoph Seller in P4. Istvan Pukki is 5th. This one, Fassi in P6. Nani Perez is 7th for Ben Sabakonyi in P8. Ramazio is 9th. And Jan Haladej in P2, yet to set a time. Who will bite first in the second attempt? And as you said before, Joanna, in previous streams, it's the calm before the storm. We can see how that will go in a few moments' time. Place your bets. Here we go. 3 minutes left to go in qualifying 3. And this is where it all matters for round 3 of the Chinese Grand Prix. 7 rounds left to go, including this one in the season. You can see there in the Mercedes and McLaren garage, everyone coming out now. It's really going to get manic in the pit lane. Who is out first? I believe that is Ben Sabakonyi in the Alfa Romeo. We'll have a look there. Yes, it is. Ben Sabo is the first one to come out in P8 on a 32.127. Everyone might be on a fresh set of tyres. And but if Giannicinci and Leveche were on old sets, that is mightily impressive from the two of them. Let's see if they can try and break into the low 31s. You never know. We might see a high 30. We'll have to see how it goes. We'll see Ben Sabakonyi first out on track. This will be the test to see who has the upper strength in China and who will have to settle for a very good race strategy. We can see how that's going to plan out. Sunny so far. We should see a dry race as well. We are yet to see a wet one so far in this season. We're only 3 rounds in. We've been to some sunny climates so far this season. We've been to Bahrain, of course. We've been to Miami. We've been to China as well. So there are still some wet climates left to go. But so far, it has stayed dry all the while. Ben Sabakonyi will be coming towards the final couple of corners now. And as we said, Joanna, this will be the test to see who has got it and who hasn't.
Interesting to see Jacopo quite close to the car ahead of him. Of course, now leaving a bit to gain some space and temperature at the same time. But of course, these two will be the first ones going, the alphas, if we may say, going for their first attempt, for their last attempt, sorry, obviously. So interesting to see. Let's see. At this moment, they're P3 for Jacopo and P8 for Vince. Let's see. And get into the top 5 at least.
Absolutely so. Here we go then. Ben Sabakonyi, his last attempt in qualifying 3. 50 seconds left to go until the timer runs out and the checker flag will be flown. Ismail Fassi and Nani Perez will be the last ones to cross the line, and everyone, apart from Nani Perez, which is just about now, everyone is on a lap. A 10th up is Ben Sabakonyi on his current personal best. A 32.0 right now is where he is at, maybe a 31.9. Here we go then into sector 2 then, carrying the speed on the left-hand side in towards the right for the second slide, into another left-hander and into another right then. Here we go then. Ben Sabakonyi really attacking the curbs on the left and into the double left, riding onto the curbs on the exit. Sector 2 Delta is coming up right about now, and he's up by about 81 thousandths of a second. The 51.7 is only 87 thousandths up. He's going to need something in Sector 3. Checker flag is now out this session. Here we go then. Ben Sabakonyi, what can he do in Sector 3? Yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Someone has had a little bit of a mishap. Is that Jacopo Grillo? Maybe. Yes, it is. He's slowing down. He is out of it. He will go only higher than P3 at the moment. He will not get a lap time in the second time. Here we go then. Ben Sabakonyi coming towards the line now. The flying Hungarian into the final couple of corners, riding on towards the curves. DRS wide open. Where can he put his Alfa Romeo? He can put it in P3. A beautiful lap time there from Ben Sabakonyi. Who is next? We'll wait and see. Christoph Zeller is coming towards the line now alongside his teammate Giannicinci. We'll ride on board with him first as Jan Hardej puts it into P4. Giannicinci across the line goes even quicker. 31.489 is where the Turk will put that car. Christoph Zeller puts it into P3. We run on board with Leveche. How can he do? Across the line, pole position for Leveche. 31.445. He can beat Giannicinci Chi so far. Ismail Fassi has had the roughest move in qualifying 2 and 1. What can he do in qualifying 3? Across the line, he can go P3. It's so tight in there. Nardi Perez will be the last one across the line. Where can he go? He can go P4. Wow, what an end to qualifying that was. And we have a new pole man in Domenico Lovecce. It's Lovecce, the Italian, in the Ferrari on pole position for the first time this season. Chanakinchi is on the front row. Ismail Fassi brings it back in P3. His championship starting to kickstart a little bit as we go into the race, but Domenico Lovecce getting the job done. He's on pole for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Interesting to see this evolution from the Italian driver, pole position, just 44,000 separating him from Chanakinchi, with Ismail Fassi on, I'd say his usual position by now, P3. Of course, last time around I think he was P2 in the qualifying session, but at the end of the race he was P3, so starting from P3 tonight with his teammate alongside him. So let's see what the Spaniards can give us on these opening laps and maybe jump a bit in the order.
Absolutely so. What an end to qualifying that was, and one of the closest we've had all season. 44 thousandths between Chanakinchi and Domenico Lovecce there, who's been tugging and pulling each other all the way through qualifying, and it goes to Domenico Lovecce again, topping all 3 qualifying sessions. Can he top the race is another question. Clear skies in front of us at Shanghai, and if you are just joining us, where have you been? You've just missed qualifying. We'll run you down the grid right about now if it will let me. Let me go on to the race director for you. There we go then. Domenico Lovecce is on pole position with Chanakinchi alongside him on the front row. With Ismail Fassi in P3. Nardi Perez is P4. Mercedes good qualifying once again, showing at the best time at China. Christoph Seller is P5 for Alpine with Ben Tabakonia in P6 for Alfa Romeo, the lone Alfa Romeo tonight, of course, with Jan Haladej in P7, Jacobo Grillo in P8, with Isfan Puki in P9, and Stefano Ramazio in P10. Milan Meyer starts 11th for Lethal Sniper in P12. Yuri Dolphin starts 13th, Roy Anu 14th, Tim Palm in P15. Red Bull really going to have to try and put the power down as much as they can in 14th and 15th, as we just said. Robbie Van 16th, Bastian Brunner 17th, and Dmitry Pantalev is at the back of the field in P18. We're about to get ready for the Chinese Grand Prix in 25 seconds. Place your bets. This is going to be an absolutely tasty affair in the Chinese Grand Prix. Round number 3 of the season on the BenQ Twitch channel. Make sure to like and follow for more content. And we are about to get ready for the first time in China. It's been 3 years since we've been here, and I'm sure it will be a great return to the track. 5 seconds left to go, and we will be live for the Chinese Grand Prix right about now. Here we go then on the grid for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. The first light is on. We're about to get ready for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai. The lights go out and we're racing in China. It's a good start for Domenico Lovecce. An even better one for Ismail Fassi, who tries to tug in into P2. He goes round the outside of Chanakinchi. Can he try and get Lovecce as well? He's had a brilliant start off the lights on the hard compound tyres. Is going to switch to the inside for the Spaniard and gets the Turk off the lights. A brilliant start there from Ismail Fassi. A better one for Lovecce, who stays in the lead going into turn 1 then. In comes Nardi Perez as well, trying to join the fun in P4. Riding around the outside of Chanakinchi, who's had a torrid start off the lights, almost tugging the back of Ismail Fassi. They go side by side through into sector 2, but it's Fassi who gets the job done. They've all kept it clean into the first couple of corners, but it's Lovecce who leads all the way through with Ismail Fassi P2, Chanakinchi P3, Nardi Perez P4. Fassi has a big moment out of the left-hander into P2 he goes. Crystal Seller 5th, then Sabakonyi 6th, Jan Haladej 7th, Grillo 8th, Puki 9th, Dobson 10th.
And what a fight between Puki and Dobson in this first lap, all the way into the braking zone after in the middle of the second sector. But for now it's advantage Puki, the Aston Martin car, up to P9. And what a start for Ismail Fassi already in P2.
He needed that start to try and kickstart his championship and try and overtake him. He knew it was up, as we can see just in the background. Chanakinchi and Christoph Seller having a little bit of a moment. Nardi Perez has gone wide. This is an opportunity for Christoph Seller. Shoots down the inside. Thank you very much. Into P4 and Alpine. Kickstart once again. A big start for Alpine. A little bit of a kickstarter for Nardi Perez though. Lovecce sets a fast up for the Grand Prix. Big accident just behind. That is Yannick Dobson getting sent spinning really vigorously vigorously into the wall. That might be rear wing damage on that McLaren. That was a violent hit in towards the wall. Thankfully, nothing damaged so far, and another spin there. That is definitely rear wing damage for Jerne Dovson. A huge accident out of the final couple of corners. Might have lost it, might have been tapped, couldn't quite see, but that is Jerne Dovson out of this race after lap 1. Not what he needed to do, but what an absolutely intense lap 1 we've just had. Leveche leads 0.5 of a second. Smith Fassi in P2. Yannick Hinchey is third with Christoph Seller in P4. Nani Perez is fifth with Vincent Bocconi in 6 so far. They've all kept it clean so far. Jerne Dovson having a little bit of an excursion on the barriers, but has kept it alive so far. More yellow flags. I might be Jerne Dovson again, but he might be in to retire the car after this one. Too much damage on that rear wing. Leveche absolutely electric in sector 2, gets 2/10 on Ismail Fassi so far. They all try to keep the power down going. There's a predicted stop strategy, medium to hard. Probably a lot of these guys will be going to hard to medium. Everyone on the hard compound tyres. So you can see there, so everyone pretty much on the same strategy. It's just a point of time. Where you're going to put it is the question. Christoph Seller looking very quick on Chanakinchi as well, and that might be a switch as well. 8/10 separate Chanakinchi and Ismail Fassi, and Kinchi just can't quite get close at the moment. Yap 3 is enabled. Leveche sets the fast lap Grand Prix with 36.194. The DRS is now available for the first time this race. The number 2 car we're watching right now, Christoph Zeller, really on the back of his teammate at the moment of Chan Akinci. Nani Perez trying to close in on him in P5 as well. Ben Sabokonyi in P6. They've all tried to keep it fairly tidy, neat as well, as Domenico Vecchi still leads the way. But this one, Fassi, is very close behind.
All keeping information, no switch in positions. So far there was a huge snap, and that allows Benson to really glue into the rear of the second Mercedes. As you mentioned, they're all in the same strategy. It'll be interesting to see when the pit stops time come around. What will the strategy be, especially between the two Mercedes and the two Alpines, quite close to each other on the grid. And of course the two Red Bulls. So this might be a bit of a situation for the second car not being able to stop when they want it.
Absolutely. So as we just saw there, Jerne Dovson does retire from the session. He is the first retirement of this race, and a big snap out of the final corner on the first lap. And too much rear wing damage has sent him out of this race early. As we see just behind that, Lethal Sniper having a look on Ramazio round the outside into the braking zone. Very tight there for the Williams. Round the outside he goes, getting forced onto the curves. A very good defensive work from Ramazio, but Lethal Sniper is still there down the inside. This is beautiful racing between the two. Ramazio's just been sent on the outside off the track. They're still side by side there. DRS wide open on the both of them. Ramazio's going to try and give him the squeeze, but it's round the outside goes Lethal Sniper. He's lost the position, trying to gain it back round the outside, down to the inside, and Ramazio just keeps that going. Beautiful battling between the Williams and the Ferrari there, and they've all kept it very clean at the start as Giannicinci sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, as we've just seen in our picture. They're all battling all the way down where you look, and Ramazio and Lethal Sniper getting into one, which has lasted very well indeed. Leveche still leading this one though. But Ben Sabocconi, as we've just seen and you've noticed, Joanna, getting very tight to the back of Nadi Perez. 5 tenths is the gap, and I wonder when he's going to try and pull the trigger and go for an overtake.
I mean, right now they're just studying each other, trying to see what will be the best part of the track to attack the guy ahead of them. But then again, always with an eye on the rear view mirror as well, because in another snap for Nadi Perez, Benson with a way better exit out. Quite close, just to separating the two cars, and this with DRS activating right now. This might be quite enough for Benson Sabocconi to gain a position on the Mercedes. They are already side by side into the braking zone. The inside is for Benson. Let's see, and he gains the position up to P5 for the Hungarian driver.
Absolutely, so brilliant move there from Ben Sabocconi, making his way up the field. Nadi Perez not having the desired start he'd want in this Grand Prix, but this battle has pulled in Jan Haliday really quite close to Nadi Perez as well. 1 second separating Ben Sabukonyi to Christoph Seller as well, so they've broken the DRS there, which is not ideal, but Ben Sabukonyi now has just got to put his foot down for these next few sectors to try and get back in the DRS, and Rory back inside 9/10 of a second, getting the job done very well indeed. Christoph Zeller though just in front, quite close to his teammate. 3/4 is the gap between the two, as the Alpines still happy to remain in formation 2 by 2. Ben Sabukonyi just behind, as we said, in P5, making the move on Nadi Perez for P6. Jan Haliday in P7. Jacobo Grillo in P8. Hasn't made any position so far, just kept his nose clean and out of anything. Marcio has just started to break out of the DRS to P10. In and out, shaking all about. But it is really tight all the way you look. Pretty much everyone in the same DRS train to everyone else. Tim Palm just floating in and out of that DRS, as we just said. 1.5 tenths, now 9/10 back on Lethal Sniper. So it's all really tight everywhere you look. Everyone's within the same DRS train, as you can see just at the back. Few moments there, and that is Bastian Brunner, who's had a little bit of a moment. And has he lost any of his front wing? No, he hasn't. But a big moment there for Brunner, and he has lost a lot of ground in that Williams as well, and back down into P17.
Unfortunate moment for the Williams driver, and he will now have quite a gap to close. Pantalev already out of DRS range, as his team. Palm with his teammate right behind him, both Red Bulls sticking together in this phase of the race, and actually not that far away from the cars ahead, just a bit out of DRS range, but maybe they can rejoin since all the drivers ahead are not really overtaking, just using each other's DRS, so maybe there's still a chance for the Red Bull drivers to join them.
Absolutely. So we've just seen out of the final corner, Leveche getting a little bit hairy, just started to pull Ismail Fassi into this battle, and so has Janik Inchi, who's just started to put the power down a little bit more, and started to try and gap his teammates a little bit wider, as we can see that beautiful shot of everyone coming towards them. Domenico Leveche still leading this one, about 5/10 to Ismail Fassi in P2. Janik Inchi close behind in P3, with Christoph Seller in P4. Ben Sabukonyi trying to get back into P5. Let's see the beautiful helicopter shot, and that is a moment. That is Nadi Perez, who's had a little bit of a moment. He's has spun on his own, and that is Mercedes, who's just been worrying a little bit too much. We've seen a few mistakes from him, and that is another one, and that is Nadi Perez at the back of the scene and into P16. So unfortunate for him. Once again, just didn't have a great start, and that is not a start he needed once again, and spinning down into P16, and now he has got way more to do. Ben Sabukonyi, now Jan Haliday, sending the fast up of the Grand Prix, 36.039. They're closing into the 35s, but not quite closing in enough. Leveche, Fassi, and Akinci really close together, with Seller waiting in the wings with that top 4 battle. Ismail Fassi just can't quite close in to that under 5/10 gap. Just been floating in and out of it, as you can see. Big braking zone as you enter into turn 7 there. He's been closer than he has been before. Maybe trying to set up a move down the back straight like he did on Dani Berezne last time out at Miami. And a beautiful battle they had all together, which just got lost within the pit lanes. And Fassi just not having the greatest of stops and just got caught in the train. And Dani Berezne went on to dominate on his second stint. Could this be a similar affair, or will Ismail Fassi try and get the power down and this time make that win stick? We see how he does down the back straight. We can see Ismail Fassi just waiting in our wings there, down the back straight. Does he pull that DRS and does he pull that move down the inside? We're going to see him down the back straight now. We're right on board with Ismail Fassi. DRS now activated. Is he close enough is the question. 6/10 back. Don't think he will be. You can see him braking very hard, and he's still just a little bit too far back on Leveche so far. Janik Inchi also a little bit too far back on Fassi as well. Leveche still holding stern so far into the final couple of corners. Keeps it nice and tight as we start lap 8 of 28.
You mentioned the fight between Ismail and Dani Berezne last time around, and I'll tell you something for sure. Ismail Fassi is not taking 0-0 wins around China. So a big difference. The huge difference in setup that we had last week, for sure there won't be that much of a difference between Lovecce and Fassi this time around. All top drivers in this grid just saving a bit of battery and sticking in the same positions. I'm pretty sure that if Ismail would use some battery, he would pass Domenico, but then again they will just be depleting each other's battery, and the car behind him would just follow them with the DRS, so no point in doing that in this phase of the race. He's in the perfect position to attack either on the pit stops or after. At the end of the race, from second, it's easier to get P1 than if he's in P1 trying to defend. It's such a long straight.
Absolutely so. More battling down there as Pantalev having a few more issues at the Aston Martin camp. But hopefully he can try and rejoin as best as he can. We can see that gap starting to rise in Sector 2 and Sector 3. So Ismail Fassi really, really good in Sector 1 and Sector 2. But just starts to lose it a little bit in Sector 3. 7 tenths, big block, big braking out of the final couple of corners, trying to gain anything he can on the Ferrari. And it definitely has worked in his favour. 4 tenths up now into 3 tenths, and definitely looking to try and get the job done in a few moments' time. We start lap 9 of 28. We run aboard with the Mercedes right now, trying to get close into the Ferrari's slipstream and into the DRS, which he already is in. 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths is the gap between the two. We run aboard there, moving down the order just a little bit. Robbie Vaughn having a battle with Ronnie Arnoux. Has gone very, very tight, and that is a crash between the two, between the Haas and the Red Bull. Tim Palm with damage, and side by side into turn 1. He usually does not go, and Arnoux with damage, and trying to sneak his nose in there, but just not enough. And that is carnage, and that is a collision between the two of them, and that is Roy Arnoux with damage as well.
The damage will probably go until the end, or at least until the pit stop, depending on where the damage is. But then again, at the front, it seems like Domenico pushed a bit and was able to open slightly that gap. Of course, Ismail is still in the DRS range, so nothing is lost.
Nothing lost indeed. We'll have a look at the ERS front. 72% on that Ferrari, 75% on the Mercedes, so pretty much similar on the ERS front. But look how much Ismail Fassi, and actually having a look down that inside is Ismail Fassi. Got really, really close up to the back of the Ferrari. And once again, really closing up to the back once again. Yellow flags in Sector 3 somewhere, having a little bit of an off. That might be the battling pair once again into 4 tenths. Once again, Ismail Fassi, lap 10 of 28. As we can see there, into the DRS comes Ismail Fassi, really, really brave, trying something on Lovecce that Lovecce hasn't seen before. An F1 esports driver, of course, so he knows his way, he knows a thing or two about the F1 games, knows a thing or two about sim racing. Ismail Fassi, of course, has been there alongside on the console platform, fairly new to the PC scene. That has been there for a few times, been about a year on the PC console, moving from PlayStation, of course. Really set his bar high there in more established leagues, but definitely going to try and find his course in ORL as well. Chanakinchi closing in as well, 5 tenths gap between all of them really. Ismail Fassi 5 tenths on Lovecce, Chanakinchi 5 tenths on Fassi, Sella 5 tenths on Akinci, and 7 tenths back is Ben Sabo Konyi to all of them. And Fassi, once again, this is one of the closest he's been all the way through this race. 6 tenths, 6.5 tenths between him and Lovecce going into the back straight. Is he close enough to try and make a move once again? We're going to have a look on the Mercedes. We can see him coming down the back straight. DRS wide open, and the flaps strays open all the way down the back straight, and a big braking zone. You like to see Ismail Fassi braking very, very hard into the right-hander. Not enough gains as it was a few laps ago. About 3 tenths is the gap. He is definitely very, very good, but just behind that is Istvan Pukki and Jacobo Grillo going side by side there. So tight. And Istvan Pukki really muscles his way through and into P7. Beautifully done by the Hungarian. Sets the fast lap of the race to do so. 2/10 though. Further up the field is Fassi and Levece with Akinci closing in once again. 3/10. This is just a little bit of a dogfight between the two of them. Yellow flag in sector 3. That's Robbie Van in the wall maybe. Could that trigger a safety car? We have not seen one yet. And that might be in the pit lane, actually, as we can see him around the outside with
it's on the
Levece.
right. It's on the left side.
Yeah, we can see that.
He might have lost the rear out of the last corner of the city. It's the end of the race for him.
Yeah, we've just seen that stricken Haas there.
Pantalev with a spin again.
Yeah,
Too
Pantalev.
much speed into turn 1, making the Aston Martin driver spin.
Yeah, Pantalev not having a good race at all. And another retirement is Robbie Van having a violent crash with the barriers out of the final couple of corners. Did not trigger a safety car, however. We are yet to see a safety car this season, however. But we might see one soon. But Levece, however, has started to push a little bit. As you can see him using a little bit of his overtake just to try and break the DRS between himself and Fassi. Fassi's having none of it though and trying to stay as close as he can to the back of the Ferrari. Maybe this is the time we say let's try and break away from everyone. Just start to have our own race. As we can see out of the final corner, Fassi still within the DRS, and we can see the pit window is open for Fassi. That 12 to 16 on the mediums, unless he wants to try and call it now. He'll probably leave it a little bit longer than imagined, but we'll see how he does on the hard compound tyres, so he can go quite long into this race. Lap 20 if he desires onto the softs. Probably going to see a lot of these guys trying to go onto me. He's trying to play it safe and see how it goes from there. Fassi still closing in on Levece once again. As you can see, just the battle starting to form out a little bit. It's second and a half between Haladesh and Pukki there for P6 and P7. Jacobo Grillo still on the back of Pukki, who are in just a little bit of their separate battle. Second and a half down the road, and once again is Milan Mayer, who's battling with Ramazio in P10 for the last points of the session. Roy Arnoux sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix with 35.872 on the medium, so he's decided to pit early onto the medium compounded tyres. As we can see them all filing through into the sector 3, and this is a very, very close opportunity for Ismail Fassi. 5/10 flickering out of that corner. And into the DRS comes Fassi. Is he close enough to try and make anything down the inside of Levece? Does anyone try and come into the pits is the question. Probably a little bit too early for a lot of them. And once again, Fassi breaking very, very hard and very, very late into the final couple of corners. Into the left-hander they go. Levece, does he stay out? Yes, he does. So does Fassi. Nutty Perez making the move on Tim Palm just in the background. We can see there down the back straight. So close it is between all of them. 2/10 is the gap between Fassi and Levece. 5/10 is between Akinci and Fassi. And 6/10 between Zeller and Akinci. And 5/10 back is Sabakonyi as well. Still, they stay in formation. Levece leading with Fassi in P2. Akinci is third with Zeller in fourth. Sabakonyi in fifth. And Jan Haladesh in P6. That is your top 6, which has been raining all the way through. Fassi still trying to keep to the back of that Ferrari, and this is probably going to go until the pit stop phases, which I'm going to probably assume is in about 8-7 laps time.
I'd say that most of our drivers will stop around lap 15, maybe 14 if they want to go for an undercut. Not this lap yet. So that the tires will get safely until the end. Milan Mayer is blinking ahead of Stefano Ramazio, so the Italian might try to take a look at the Haas driver into the main street, while we have yellow flags, and it's Nardi Perez all over again.
Yeah, Nardi Perez into the gravel. Might have been a touch, might have been on his own, but Nardi Perez's luck really running low at China today. And it's definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board for the next round. We can see there in the background, Ismail Fassi so close, almost pushing that Ferrari through the right-hander there, and is so close to the back of him into the final corner. Once again they go, flying towards the left-hander into the final corner to start lap 14 of the Chinese Grand Prix. Still loads more laps left to go in this one. 15-14 still to go as we can see there coming in towards the back straight. Domenico Lavecce flying in the lead, 3/10 of a gap between himself and Ismail Fassi. It's just been a little bit of a cat and mouse so far, a little bit of a DRS train at times, but sometimes league racing, you just don't want to make that crucial mistake, that little bit of a lunge that might cost you dear. And what has cost him dear? Lavecce going a little bit wide out of the right-hander and has cost him about a 10th and a half there. Nani Perez retires from the session in the pit lane, and another retirement going for him, and we're down to 15. And that is not what Nani Perez would have wanted coming in to tonight, but hopefully can try his best next time around, and a little bit more luck going to the Mercedes driver. And Red Bull still out of the points, so Mercedes still be scoring points. There is the tyre performance. Ismail Fassi been pushing a little bit more than Lavecce has. You can see there 49% on Fassi's tyres and about 42% on Lavecce's. So Fassi is probably scheduled a pit stop in the next couple of laps if he wants to try and stay out as long as he can. That is the question. Does he want to try and be in front when he makes his pit stop, or does he want to stay behind? We can see him braking very, very hard there into the final couple of corners. 3.5 tenths is the gap, 4 tenths now as they try to wrestle with that Mercedes. Does Ismail Fassi, who can flick over to the TV pod. And still, yes, and there we go then.
Making my bets correct. Lap 15. Well, lap 14 for him. So the undercut attempt going on. Let's see if he manages to get some positions out of this maneuver. One of the Aston Martin, so it will be Eastern Puki. Also stopping as well as Stefano Ramaggi.
Yep, those three decide to come into the pits for the medium compound of tyres. Cogni comes out in front of Puki and in front of Ramazia. We'll have a look to see where they come out. 10th, 11th and P12. So where will that put them in the rest of things? Will they get the job done with the undercut, or will the overcut seem to prevail? What will Lavecce and what will Fassi do is the question. Lap 15 of 28 of the Chinese Grand Prix here in ORL. Roy Anu setting fastest lap after fastest lap at 35.637 is his on the medium compounder tyres. 5.4 is the gap between Ben Sabocogni and Tim Palm. They make their way down the back straight into the straight line onto the final couple of corners there. Ismail Fassi, we can see on his rear view wing, 8 tenths back is Chanakinchi. The DRS slams open. We can see Lavecce into the cameras once again as he wants to have a look. Is Fassi? No, he's not. A little bit too far back once again. Do they decide to dive into the pits? But Domenico Lavecce had a little bit of a sloppy moment out of the final couple of corners. And Ismail Fassi having a look there, but they come into the pits after this one. Lavecce going a little bit wide, but Fassi still remains behind. And Christoph Seller takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. But Lavecce and Fassi and also Akinci, all of them coming into the pits now. And there, who will be out in front? Lavecce onto the medium. So is Fassi. It's so close, but Fassi still in front. We'll see where Ben Sabocogni is. He's coming out of the final corner now. It's going to be so tight between all of them. Here comes Fassi in P9 at the moment. Who will he get? He's going to get a few of them. He's going to try and get that Alpine. Oh, Chanakinchi, so tight. Into P4 goes Ben Sabocogni, getting the job done, which is the podium right now. That undercut worked to perfection for Ben Sabocogni, and into P4 he goes. P3 once Christoph Seller pits, and that's worked down to a nail for Ben Sabocogni into a net P3. Fassi still in a net P2, and Domenico Lavecce still in the net lead of this one.
The maneuver working just perfectly for the Alfa Romeo driver. Let's see if he can get closer to Ismail Fassi on this lap, that he's still trying to get some temperature into his tires, obviously. I was expecting Ismail to lose quite a bit more time, considering that he pitted in the same lap that Domenico Lavecce, but he actually managed to keep under the DRS range, so good on him, and that's crucial for his race in my opinion.
Absolutely so. As we can see there, Ismail Fassi 7 tenths back on Lavecce now, still trying to make those medium tyres work a little bit. And there in comes Christoph Seller. Where will he rejoin is the question. He's decided to go for one lap longer. 20 seconds was the gap between himself and Lavecce. Where will he rejoin is the question. Probably around about P7, maybe P6 is where I'm guessing. He's going to come out of the pits right about now. There he goes, out of service. And this actually might be very, very tight. Out comes Leveche. There goes Christoph Seller into P3. Where will he rejoin? And just as I guessed around about P5, there goes Jan Haladej trying to go around the outside. And this Van Pookie is trying to slot in through. So Christoph Seller still rejoins in that P5 spot and gets the job done. So we're back in it. Lap 17 to 28, 11 laps still to go. And Jan Haladej is all over the back of Christoph Seller. Will he have a go? He's going to have a look. Daniel Ricciardo style down the inside. Goes Jan Haladej. Job done. Thank you very much. Lick the stamp and send it. Jan Haladej up into P5. A beautiful move on Christoph Seller on cold tyres. Jan Haladej up into P5. And 1.1 seconds up the road is Shanakinchi.
But Jan Haladej is blinking out of his diffuser, so he needs to get closer to Zello's teammates so he can save some berry around the next couple of laps. He pushed a lot to get this P5, but it's 2 more positions than what he had when we started this round of pit stops, so well done for him. Well done for BenQ, of course. He was down to P6 if I'm not mistaken, so a huge effort from the Alfa Romeo driver. Hopefully he'll be able, when we have them going side by side with him and actually getting the position. Sorry, I almost missed it before the braking zone and braking ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver.
Absolutely. So there goes Shanakinchi back into P3 of this one. And getting the fastest lap into the 33 to go then. 33.9 for Shanakinchi now. But this is make or break then. 10 laps to go in this session. When is Ismail Fassi going to pull the trigger and say, you know what, I just want to bolt away from this one and never look back? Domenico Leveche 5/10 up the road for Ismail Fassi's sake. Shanakinchi in P3, just overtaking Ben Sabaconi just now. And 5/10 back is Ben Sabaconi as well. 1.5 seconds is Jan Haladej, from this battle. And the clouds starting to get a little bit cloudier in this one, but probably no further rain, hopefully. But starting to get a little bit darker out there. We might have a little bit of a spot of rain near the end, but I could always spice things up. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. So a big snap there for Ismail Fassi, almost losing everything on that turn. Thankfully kept his wheels spinning in the right direction, and once again a little bit of a moment wrestling with that Mercedes car into 9/10 now. He's going to have to use a lot of his ERS if he wants to try and claim back into Leveche's hands, using everything he can on the back straight, out of a second now, and he's going to have to brake very, very hard into this one, braking just after the 100-meter board, trying to close up to Domenico Leveche further back. Christoph Seller getting into Jan Haladej's position, and into P5 he goes. 8/10 now separate Fassi and Leveche. Leveche having a little bit of a moment once again, and Fassi not having the idealist of corners either. This is starting to get a little bit tastier, where mistakes start to creep in.
Yeah, this is how they waste battery. Domenico noticed that Fassi had the moment, tried to push as hard as he could with all the battery, so he could try to get the 1 second gap that he needed to not be under any kind of threat. And then Ismail, of course, doing the same as that Shanakinchi, also doing it a bit, but not really trying to pass the Mercedes driver. And then in this moment you have Domenico with less battery than the guy behind him, and the guy behind him still in the DRS range, so this might be a bit of a dangerous situation for the Ferrari driver.
Absolutely. So Ismail Fassi still has to drive the wheels off that Mercedes to try and close up. We can probably tell Leveche is starting to push a little bit more just to try and break that DRS a little bit more. He senses an opening, does the Italian, but
and misses
Fassi
the DRS range, so he'll be under attack with no DRS to defend. He needs to close this gap this lap, otherwise BenQ, I don't think he'll be able to attack this lap, but if Chem doesn't close the gap, he will be in real danger from the Alfa Romeo. victory.
Absolutely so. And Ismail Fassi getting in the DRS as well. He's starting to come alive, is the Spaniard, and so is Ben Sabaconyi, as we just saw, trying to close up to Yannick Hinchey. Will get DRS, whether or not this time around, as Milan Meyer gets past Stefano Ramazio for P9 there. And Ramazio getting done by Lethal Sniper as well. We can see Ismail Fassi closing back up to Levecce, back into 2/10 into turn 1 and turn 2. 8 laps to go in this Chinese Grand Prix, a thrilling Chinese Grand Prix. Haven't been here for 3 years, and how good it's been to come back once again. Here they go then. Ismail Fassi closing on the back of the Ferrari. 4.5, 4/10, 5/10 separating the two of them. This is going to get so tasty, and all over the back is Fassi. He wants this win so badly. He was taken away from it last time at Miami just from the pit stop error, and he has got a big chance to take the lead of the championship going into BenQ next week. And we can see there Ismail Fassi, he knows this championship could be taken into the lead right now. And Levecce trying to drive for his first win of the season, coming into his first race of the season. We can see there 3/10 is the gap. This is the closest Ismail Fassi has been. He's going to try and probably attempt at a move this time around. We can see we're on board. Ismail Fassi again. Levecce tries to defend. This is Fassi's chance to go for the lead for the first time. Here comes the DRS from the Spaniard. Does Levecce try and defend? He takes a little bit of a defensive line. Left or right goes Fassi. He tries the left. The door slams shut. And Domenico Levecce still remains in the lead of this Grand Prix. Beautiful defending from the Italian, but Ismail Fassi is closing in so rapidly on the Ferrari. 21 and 28, 7 laps now to go, and Fassi is really hot on Levecce's heels. So is Akinci, so is Ben Sabaconyi.
Of course, I don't think that Fassi will attack Domenico until the last lap, unless it's a situation whether he overtakes Levecce or is overtaken by Akinci. With all this, he was able to close the gap to the 2 guys ahead of him. Benz is still really close to him, so this might be quite a show in these final laps.
Absolutely so. 3/10 between Fassi and Levecce. We can see the gap between all of them together, as we can see there. 1 second separating the top 4 exactly. Ben Sabaconyi 1 second back on Levecce. Akinci 8, Fassi 3. It's so tight here. You can pretty much separate these guys with a cigarette pack, if you like, as we can see there. Fassi really late on the brakes once again. Levecce really under deep pressure from the Spaniard here. We can see coming out of the final corner, we're going to ride on board with him once again. The Ferrari under immense pressure from the Mercedes. The slipstream is working in Fassi's favour. The DRS is working in Fassi's favour. Is the position going to work in Fassi's favour? He's going to pull to the right hand side. Is he? No, he's not. He's going to wait and wait. Further back, Akinci and Ben Sabaconyi trying to battle away. Akinci closing in, forces Ben Sabaconyi wide, and that is P3 in the bag for Akinci. Fassi is going to wait a little while longer to try and make the move, but further in the while, this is going to bring Christoph Zeller, Jan Halledge, and Istvan Pukki into this battle. This is going to be such a thrilling finale to this race, and this is getting very heated and very hot all the while through. And Fassi doing the league racing strat. He's definitely going to try and wait, as you said, Joanna, wait until the very end, as Yannick Hinchey having a massive moment there. This is going to invite Ben Sabaconyi into a position to overtake as well.
I'll tell you why that won't happen, because Bench had a moment of his own right before Champ had his own. So drivers giving it all, and of course small moments ended up happening because of that. Well, we have Ismail trying to take bigger lines around, because with the slipstream he just gets way too close to Domenico Levecce.
Absolutely so. Fassi once again 3/10 into Levecce as the clouds start to darken over the Shanghai International Circuit. Could there be some rain on the agenda which could spice up this race any more the while? We can see Levecce in Fassi's closing in, as we can see there. Levecce trying to pull out of the DRS train, and Fassi closing in as well, trying to defend from Akinci as well. He's closing in and closing in and closing in. Is he close enough? No, No, he's not. He's going to wait a little while longer. Flurries starting to pour over this circuit as the clouds really start to darken here in China. Flying towards the left-hander comes Leveche and Fassi, 2x2x2. You can see there, this battle has gone all the way to the top 7 now, with Pookie just in behind. This is so tasty. Leveche starting to pull a Lewis Hamilton on 2016 yellow flags. I think that's Roy Arnoux, who's had a little bit of a moment further back, but this is starting to become a Lewis Hamilton 2016 Abu Dhabi strat for Leveche. He's trying to back up the field and try and force each other into mistake and bolt away as best as he can. You can see the tyre performance, 32% is Fassi's highest, 29 is Leveche's. He's starting to care for his tyres a little bit more and really starting to push when he needs to do so. Leveche is one experienced driver and definitely knows his way, which is probably why he's got the freshest tyres and he's going to wait and just not really setting those blistering times, but setting enough to make sure Ismail Fassi doesn't overtake and more yellow flags in Sector 3.
Let's see what comes out of this fight going on all the way down to P7, as you mentioned, and Gemma is really. And this time, I don't think that Ismail will be able. Oh, and Domenico Leveche giving a toe to his competitor just to make sure that it's quite chaotic, and they almost go 3 wide into the first turn. Chiamakinchi looking into the inside of Domenico Leveche, but the Italian actually manages to get P2, and it will be the Mercedes driver having to pull away now if he wants to keep this P1, or let's see what tactics can be right here. He might want Domenico to take up the first position, but the strategy decision that I mentioned before coming into play, Fassi only overtaking Leveche because it was either that or being overtaken by Chiamakinchi.
Fassi now leads this Grand Prix, and Leveche is now the one trying to hunt down the Mercedes. He is now the one who's really going to have to push hard for these next few laps as Chiamakinchi trying to get past Leveche, who just hasn't been up to the races on this stint and has just really been slipping away. As you can see now, 7/10 back is Fassi. He's been pushing so hard these first few sectors, and now Chiamakinchi is all over the back of Leveche. This could be very tasty. Has this been Ismail Fassi's chance to drive away and try and take a historic win at China as the clouds start to darken and turn grey over this Shanghai International Circuit? This could be so interesting near the end. 4 laps still remaining. Chiamakinchi trying to give everything at Domenico Leveche. The Ben Samukonyi waiting in the wings as well. Christoph Seller is behind as well as he tries to get into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo. Left or right, he's going to have to choose left if he wants an overtake. The McLaren's having a look as well. Round the outside, does Seller try a little bit too much there. A little bit of a tap there from Konyi on Akinci, but they all manage to stay 2x2 and still remain all 4 tyres on the track, and a little bit more of a moment from Samu Konyi just in front. Lap 25 of 28, 3 laps still remaining in this Chinese Grand Prix, and it's Seller really closing in on the back of Konyi for P4, Akinci closing in on Leveche for P2, and Fassi trying to drive away from Leveche in P1.
Let's see if Ismail Fassi can get as good of first and second sector as he did last lap. It would be crucial to keep Domenico still far from him and be able to defend from the Ferrari driver. In the meantime, we have Jan Alades and Istvan Pukki fighting for position, and I think swapping positions with Istvan Pukki back to P7 now. Istvan Pukki did swap 3 times positions, and it seems like they were letting the other guy by, so it was quite strange to see. But at this moment, we also have an overtake going on here with the RS and the soft tires. Roy Arnoux passing Dimitri Pantalev.
Absolutely so. Arnoux back into P14. We'll flick over to the battle for the lead though. Leveche 7.5 tenths back on Fassi. He's not close enough for an overtake this time around. He's probably just going to try and wire everything up until the last couple of laps. He's going to leave it very late But speaking of who's not going to leave it, latest Christoph Seller, who's really behind Ben Samukonyi now and tries round the outside of his fellow Hungarian. Side by side, a little bit of a tap there, but Seller still remains in that P5. Ben Samukonyi driving the widest Alfa Romeo you've ever seen at the Chinese Grand Prix. Defending like a lion is the Hungarians. We can see their Seller trying to close up once again. Not enough in the tank once again as Ramazio and Milan Mayer having a little of an incident, and I think that is Milan Mayer who's going slowly. Yes, it is. That might be contact between the two with 2 laps to go. It's getting tasty everywhere you look, and now Domenico Lavecce comes to life in these final 2 laps. 3/10 back on Fassi. This is going to get interesting. Akinci 9/10 back on Lavecce as well. This could be the only 2 on the front who could be leading away with the win. 2 laps to go, 26 to 28. This is going to get interesting. 5/10 between Lavecce and Fassi now. It's closing down every way. 472, 484, 376. It's closing in. Lavecce. Fassi trying to bolt away if he can. Lavecce always in his mirrors, as we can see there, coming into sector 3 now, starting sector 3. What has Lavecce got in the back of that Ferrari-powered engine? As we can see there, yellow flag still flying in sector 3. Roy Anu in the barriers once again. Here comes Lavecce with the DRS on Fassi. Is he close enough to make a move? He probably is going to be. The DRS flurries for the Ferrari. Is he close enough to make the move? He's not using any ERS or DRS for that fact. He's still closing in and waiting for the perfect time to pounce, which is going to be the last lap, 27 to 28. This is going to be 2 more laps, and then Lavecce will let loose into the final couple of corners.
Let's see. It seemed like Domenico was able to be quite closer to Fassi this last lap. Let's see if he manages to keep the gap. It seems like Fassi is losing a bit of time to the Ferrari driver in his first sector. And then Akinci also getting some time on then. They were more than 6/10 apart, and now well, it's not that different. It's really tight gaps, and the differences are minimal. But with that huge DRS zone and straight in the back, it's always difficult to guess what will happen in these last 2 laps of the race. All the way down to P7 still together. Jan Alades and Istvan Pul with BenQ, and then Tim McKinsey a bit more on the safe side between all these fights going on around him. But it's really small margins, so anything can change at any moment.
Absolutely so. We're going to close in to the last lap of the Chinese Grand Prix. The rain has ceased. We are not going to get any rain. We're going to stay dry for these last couple of kilometers of Formula 1 racing. Once again, Domenico Lavecce all the way back on Ismail Fassi so far. 7/10 is the gap with Chad Akinci trying to keep Ben Samukonyi behind, but it's Christoph Seller trying to close up as well. We move over to the final couple of corners. Ismail Fassi is a lap away from a win, but Lavecce smells a win as well. He can smell anything. Can Lavecce? He has anything up his sleeve. Fassi starts the final lap of Grand Prix. Place your bets. Here we go. Lap 28 of 28. Lavecce in P2, Fassi in P1. We're going to ride on board all the way through sector 1 with Lavecce 3/10 back at the moment, trying anything on Ismail Fassi, who goes a little bit wide than Lavecce imagined, and now the Ferrari can let loose on this Mercedes and try and gap that Alpine away. Here we go then into sector 2, starting about now. Fassi still in the lead by 0.4 of a second. Braking hard is Lavecce, a little bit wide, but keeps that momentum going out of the exit. Fassi 0.5 now up on the leader. Here we go then into the left and right handers, the little S's if you like of China. So tight all the way through. 0.4. Ismail Fassi needs to defend as hard as he can on Domenico Lavecce if he wants to try and get this win. Here we go then. 14% VRS is Ismail Fassi, with Domenico Lavecce not on a lot as well. This is his last chance. Is the Ferrari to try and let loose on the Mercedes? His last chance is starting now. The DRS is going to open for Lavecce in about now. Fassi immediately goes defensive. He's starting to flash 5% on that ERS for the Ferrari. Has he run out of room? Has he run out of laps? Has he run out of straight? He's going to try everything. Does he want to try down the inside? He's going to try it round the outside. Goes Leveche. Fassi sees it coming. The switch back for Leveche. Through goes Leveche. They're side by side. Fassi, Leveche. Fassi once again down the inside. It's going to Fassi. Fassi taken away from Miami. He wins in China on the last lap of the Chinese Grand Prix. Ismail Fassi trying everything, defending like a lion, and it's Fassi, the Spaniard, who takes it in China. Leveche is defeated. Chalakinchi is P3. It's Ben Samukonye in P4. Senna is 5th. Pookie is 6th. Haladej is 7th. Grillo is 8th. Lethal Sniper is 9th. And Fassan Ramazio is P10. But the win will go to Ismail Fassi in the most dramatic of final laps you'll ever see in league racing. It's Fassi on top of China and on top of the driver's standings.
5 points separating him from Dani Berezhny out of the third round. I'm sure the Hungarian will want to fight back into the next round, but for now it's the Mercedes in the top of the standings.
What a way to do it. Ismail Fassi gets his first win in ORL. He was sort of lost away at Miami, but got the job done at China once again. Leveche in P2, got the pole position, but just couldn't hold on to it. Chalakinchi is P3, did well to try and stay about, and about 4/10 is the gap between first and third. What a way to do it. Absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Fassi is your second winner here in ORL and his first win in ORL history as well. In his rookie season, gets the job done. 3 rounds in. Excuse me. Isfan Pookie is your driver of the day, but what an ending to a chaotic and immensely brilliant Chinese Grand Prix. The season, well, this has probably been my favourite race of the season so far. What a way, what a battle we've had. Everyone within 5/10 or less of each other all the way through. And Ismail Fassi deserves that win so much. Any one of these guys deserve that win. But it's gone to Ismail Fassi here in China. But what an absolutely fantastic way to do it. There's your results then. Ismail Fassi is your victor here in China with Domenico Leveche in P2. Chalakinchi is third with the fastest lap of the 33.948. Ben Samukonyi is fourth with Christoph Seller in P5. Isfan Pookie is sixth for Aston Martin. Jan Haladej is seventh for Como Grillo in P8. And in the points on his debut as well. Lethal Sniper in the points as well on debut from 12th on the grid, and Stefano Ramazio in P10 from P10. Milan Meyer in 11th for Tim Palm from 15th in P12. No points for Red Bull, but still a valiant effort from the Red Bull as well. Basti Brunner is 13th with Roy Arnoux in 14th. And Dimitri Pandelev is 15th. Nani Perez, Robbie Van, and Yoni Dovson is who we lost in these race, and we are now joined by Chalakinchi, I believe, who's just come in for an interview. Jan, that was a very interesting Grand Prix from your point of view, and that was another very good P3 from you. How does that feel with another podium?
I mean, it feels nice actually. I mean, I spent all my ERS to overtake Ben's. That's why I was just watching, and in the end, and it actually didn't work out, which is not ideal, but yeah, it was a good race.
Absolutely. So getting the fastest lap as well, that one extra point added to your name, definitely going to help next in the next few rounds. Definitely. Do you think you can still try and take the championship to the likes of Berezhny and Fassi, and maybe even Leveche now?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough, but it actually doesn't matter that much. But yeah, I think I don't have a chance against these drivers, not gonna lie. They're really quick, and I'm really like, it's really hard to keep up the pace with them. So yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Well, it's definitely going to be tough indeed. Baku next, of course, on the calendar. Are you excited for that one? Do you think you can try and grab another podium to your name?
I'm not excited for Baku, no, actually. I'm really bad at street circuits. But yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do next week.
Absolutely. So, well, Chanakinchi, thank you very much for your time. Good luck for BenQ as well. And we will see you next week as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shan Akinci. Hopefully, we might be joined by someone else as well. Hopefully, we'll just try and see if we are or not. But absolutely fantastic way to end it. And I think we will end it there. Shan Akinci joining us for an interview there. Thankful for everyone who has come into the stream once again. And Ismail Fassi getting the job done and his first victory in ORL as well. Thank you to BenQ for hosting us on Twitch tonight. Thank you very much to them as well. Stay tuned next week for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku Street Circuit. My name has been Joshua Davis. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and we'll see you all later for Baku. Thank you very much and good night.